So in this session, what we're going to look at is we're going to look at the key performance indicator, or the KPI. And the KPI is really a measure for success, okay? These are the indicators that we're achieving the job that we said that we were going to go out and achieve. Okay, now what we start to look at there is we start to look at, they help us measure our financial situation, they help us measure our organisational performance over time, and they also allow us to start getting the initial planning for success, okay? We know what we're trying to achieve, and we're starting to put some numbers around it, okay? We start to think that these become a bit of a criteria for securing necessary resources. So if a KPI is a measure of success, it could be a sales target, it could be a figure about how quickly we serve our customers. Every customer in this place will be served within the first 3 minutes. It could be on our delivery timetable. We will always make sure that we send things the next working day. They become part of our key performance indicators about whether we're doing that or not. Okay, so these are our business goals, a sort of small goal. What that allows us to do is to start to develop a marketing or sales strategy around that. Okay, so we start talking about promises that we're making as an organisation, and then how do we adhere to those. It also allows us a very clear appraisal strategy. Okay, if we understand that we have a measure, and the measure is that every day we make sure that we send the customer's order within 24 hours. That our organisational promise is that we always send a customer order within 24 hours of receipt. Okay, so that actually becomes our key performance indicator. Did we do it? What percentage of the orders went out after 24 hours? So that allows us to come up with some sort of marketing and sales strategy that we tell people, this is what we'll do for you. This is what we intend to do. It allows us to then take an appraisal strategy where what we're doing is we're saying, well, how often are we actually doing that? Who's accountable for making sure this happens? Okay? By having very clear KPIs and a very clear understanding about it, it allows us to then implement a recruiting strategy. Okay, if our recruiting strategy is customer satisfaction or customer service satisfaction, 90%. If we say that on our surveys, 90% is the benchmark that we want customers satisfied to. If we've got that really clear KPI, that allows us to start thinking about our recruitment strategy. So what staff or people are we going to hire that are going to allow us to achieve this goal? If we've got this goal, then that starts to talk into the marketing strategy about our customer service is held to a high standard. If we have this, what it also allows us to do is it allows us to develop a training package or a training strategy that backs these things up. Because how are we going to make sure our people are actually delivering this? So we start to think about what our training strategies are. If we can see that we're not always hitting 90%, then what we might need to do is make sure that we have customer service training to help deliver that. And that way we can also measure if the training was successful, because either that figure will go back up or it won't. And if it doesn't, then we'll have to look at what the training KPI was. But what we're always looking for there is a very clear and distinct measure of success. Okay, so when we're starting to look through that, we might have to look at the equipment people use in order to facilitate that. If we're saying customer service satisfaction is always going to be high, but our systems don't work, then that creates a real problem. If we're saying that we'll always mail things out, but we don't have the correct facilities to make sure that happens, then that's going to create a problem as well. But once we know what these measurements are, we can start to have a look at the options available to us. It might be a funding thing that we need to look at there as well. We might need to make sure we have the right materials to help support that, and we need to make sure that we always have the right people. Okay, because at the end of the day, that's really what's going to make this happen, is the people that we employ every day and the people that come in there. Now, they're also going to need space. Okay, so we need to make sure we have the right amount of space for people. Customer service satisfaction, if everyone's crammed into a little space, they're not going to be terribly happy. If we don't have a large mail clearing area, we're not going to be able to follow up on our promise. Okay, so these measurements of success become really important for a lot of the decisions we make. We need to also look at, is that a realistic time? Can we turn around and say that it is going to be, in fact, 24 hours? Okay, do we know that that's the way the mail system works? Okay, there's no point us making promises we can't keep, because we're going to be held accountable to that, because they become our key performance indicators, our measurement of success. And also just thinking through on the technology that people have available to them. Okay, I need to make sure that people have the right level of technology so they can actually go out and deliver that. And we can simply express them as with our staffing, when we're putting out there for the job ads, you know, these are the expectations. Okay, that our staff will send customer orders within 24 hours, and we can have a measurement about what's, you know, unacceptable and what is acceptable and what's, meets and exceeds expectations. Okay, so we can start talking about that. Is sending an order 24 hours, if they get it right 80% of the time, is that good enough? Does it have to be 90% of the time? Does it have to be 100% of the time? What about customer service satisfaction? It says 90%. What happens if they get 85? What happens if they get 95? And that turns into performance management, which is a separate conversation. But we do need to set those key, clear deliverables within the business, because they're going to have an ongoing effect on how we allocate our resources, how we train and develop our people, the expectations we set for those people, and then also how we performance manage and remunerate those people. All right, so that's key performance indicators as a bit of an introduction, and enjoy that. Remember that training is the key to make sure that these things happen. Clear measurements, clear outcomes, everyone knows what to expect, and you can hire your people accordingly. Thank you.